Well, for both tunes, but I already had the other 500, so 13.5.
Your filmmaker is out of here. Action.
Alright guys, so this is a long-awaited video that everyone's been asking me about. Well, at least everyone that watches my channel has been asking about. How much have I spent on the turbo kit? So we're going to go into the garage, we're going to add everything up, and we're going to show you exactly how much I spent. And the things we're not going to do, well, let's go to the garage and we'll explain it more. Okay, so we're here in the garage. Things I'm not going to include. Welding supplies, because that's between me and Joe. Joe's time, which is very expensive. Just kidding, Joe really helped me out. The fuel system, because typically those are separate. Like this is just the turbo kit. If you want to know how much I spent on the fuel system, I've talked about in previous videos. This is going to be just the turbo system. So let's open up the engine bay. Because I don't even remember all the shit I bought.
Too much.
Oh, it was already open. Voila! So, if you guys are new to the channel, this is pretty much a custom-built turbo kit now at this point, but it's utilizing CG Fab manifolds and pretty much everything else we've had to do. We've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations to figure this out. We are on our second turbo already because the other turbo was too small for the Coyote system, but essentially, we've got CG Fab manifolds, twin tile 44mm wastegates, a Bog Warner 7687 with a 110 AR, tile 50mm blow-off valve, a 1300 horsepower Treadstone intercooler, and custom intercooler piping by no one other than the other Joseph Young at Streetcar Joe on Instagram. And we've got a Lethal Performance 2000 horsepower fuel system with 1050X injectors, and I don't know, a bunch of other random stuff. So, we're going to start adding everything up. So, I think what's really going to add up is all of these. This is all the stuff...
Nervous.
This is all of the stuff that's local. So, like, when you're building your own turbo kit, you've got to go find the fittings, the hoses. This is probably easily... I'd say $200 in extra fittings. This is just one of the boxes. Like, there's another box of stuff. Just random extra fittings that
More
we have.
boxes, on boxes.
Yeah. So, we've got a lot of random fittings that are extra. Kennedy's filming the ground.
No, I'm not. Don't worry about what I'm filming. I've got this.
I've got to pull up my email real quick. And I'm going to add the large stuff first. The easy stuff to get done. A lot of the stuff I actually know the price off the top of my head. So, the first turbo that I bought was a Precision 7675 with a 9.6 AR. Now, I thought, this is no one else is doing but myself, I thought that was the right turbo because I've seen a lot of Coyotes run 76mm. However, later on we found out that they run bigger exhaust housings, and that's where I messed up. Anyways, the Precision turbo was... exactly $1,000. $1,000. Oh, I think I got a coupon code for free shipping or something else. So, that was $1,000. The CG Fab system. So, the CG system came with the manifolds, so 2 manifolds, a cross pipe. It came with the wastegate dumps. It came with the merge. That was $1,600. So, pretty much all the hot parts were $1,600. So, CG Fab, these are stuff I just know off the top of my head because I spent a lot of money on it. $1,600. This is adding up really quick already.
Yeah, you could have bought my camera.
Already. So, let's look. I pretty much know how much I spent on the wastegates, but I want to double check. Oh boy.
This is scary, y'all. Oh gosh.
Let me double check that number. And some of this stuff, like, I could have got on sale or didn't get on sale or I hit a sale, I don't know. It's just sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't.
Just depends on when you bought it and...
Exactly. Oh boy. 2 tile 44 millimeter wastegates.
How much?
Hold on. So for 2 of them, $750. Oh boy. Let's look up how much I paid for the blow-off valve. Now this stuff I probably should have looked for used. Like used wastegates and used blow-off valves, I think you should go with unless you can't find a good deal on them. But I used to buy that stuff used. I just couldn't find any at the time. So $230 for the blow-off valve, not bad.
I don't even think you know how much you
I really
spent
don't
total.
at this point. I've tried adding it up before, but it just got way too costly.
So you said never mind.
$230, sorry. $230 for the blow-off valve. The intercooler, I actually got a good deal on the intercooler. They had a sale going on. I only paid, I think it retails are like $550, but I only paid $475 for it.
Only.
Yeah, and I think actually I just saw it on sale again. It was like $450 or something like that. $475 because it's just an air-to-air intercooler. It's nothing crazy. So that was $475. See, I've got to look at it.
Bring your notepad.
I need to. So next thing we can do is the piping is not cheap. You would think this is where I thought I would save money, was like buying my own piping and having Joe weld it. And like when you figure in the cost of like welding supplies, and if you had to pay someone to weld it, luckily I didn't have to pay someone. Joe really helped me out. We kind of exchanged some stuff. The piping gets very expensive. Not only the piping, this is what we'll do after the piping. These freaking couplers get so damn expensive. The couplers and the clamps, that's where the little stuff will kill you. Okay, so let me look up the piping. I've ordered, if you want to know, oh, don't look at the numbers yet.
No, I need this.
If you want to know, I ordered the piping from Hypermotive Performance. His name's, I think it's Hypermotive. No. What are you doing? Hey! What are you doing?
Your filmmaker is out of here.
We lost her! Alright, so for the intercooler piping, I can't find the email, but spent around $400. I just looked on their website. The reason why is because, let me show you. We had to pull up the laptop because I'm trying to find some emails. The reason why the piping gets so expensive is this one right here is a tight radius. So when you have to do these tight radius pipes, they're a lot more expensive. So this is all aluminum from, it's High Performance Racing Dan over there. So I had to get a couple of those tight radius bends. I think there's one over there too, and they are very expensive. Plus, there's a transition down here you can't see. And yeah, it just adds up real quick. And that's not including this one, this new one. So these two for the new turbo, that's another $100. So it's about $400 on the other one, and now I'm going to add $100 for the new exhaust. So this is the old exhaust. These V-bands, the V-bands with the clamps and everything, this one was actually only $60. But when I first got this one that went to the back of the Precision Turbo, it was $100. That's what gets expensive also, is all the V-bands and the clamps. So just between this one and the new one, I spent $160. I'm telling you, it's the little shit that adds up. It's crazy. Just these little V-bands. Okay, back to... Oh! Breaking stuff. Alright, so after that, we've got...
Oh, man.
Mass airflow sensor. We needed the little flange. I think that low guy was $30. I'm telling you, all this little stuff's gonna add up. That was $30. I had to order. I got a lot of the couplers locally, which is in those receipts. But I'm gonna pull up some emails, some emails from Jegs that I've ordered, because I've ordered a lot of stuff from Jegs and a lot of stuff from Summit. I need freaking discount codes over there. Your Jegs order is on its way. What was that? So here you go. One vibrant fitting, $25. I'm just gonna name these. I'm just gonna put an F next to them for F this fitting. That was $25. This one. Let's see. Where's the other one at? That's what I was saying. Like I've got at least 10 fittings in that box, and they're $20 to $25. All right, in the essence of saving time, we kind of just went through the emails and just threw everything together for you guys. That way you don't have to sit here and watch me just scroll through emails. So, we left off on the flange. We started with the fittings. Spent $250 in fittings online. Those are the ones I ordered. I've still got like 10, 15 receipts over here. Those are just ones I've ordered online. Like I said, I've got a lot of extra ones because we didn't know exactly what was going to work and not work. So some of that I didn't have to actually use, but they are paid for, they are bought, and now I have them. Oil feed line, 30 bucks. Oil return line, about 50 bucks because I had to buy extra of the braided line. Radiator overflow tank now. I had to buy that little one because that's where the exhaust is going. That was 100 bucks. Turbo blanket, 100 bucks. Gaskets, $15. Now this one, couplers and clamps that I bought online. This is online, $60. In those receipts, I had to buy a lot that were local also. So, what we're going to do is we're going to add all this up, and then we're going to start adding in the little receipts. And, I don't know, we might come out cheaper than a turbo kit online. So, in Aldo Weld's bottom mount, not his top mount kit that's on the 8-second car, but the bottom mount kit that I think like Mexico Racing League runs, that kit starts at 7,500 bucks. That's a really well priced kit. Helion's sleeper kit starts at 7,500 bucks. Helion's top mount kit starts at like $9,000, and I think once you spec it out to the way like I would do it, it becomes like $10,000. That's a twin turbo top mount kit. I think the LPF kit's around $9,000 to $10,000 when you get up there. No one has a true single kit yet, but the one that's coming out from BL Fabrication, they work with Siley. That one's starting out at $7,500. So that's probably the most comparable item that we can compare this price to is BL Fab's kit that's coming out is $7,500. Now, if you knew exactly what you needed and didn't have to go like through all the steps that we had to go through and buy stuff and see if it was going to work and then just throw it in the toolbox because it didn't end up working, you'd save a lot of money. But the problem is when you build your own custom kit, you've got to do all this research, you've got to buy stuff, test it. If it doesn't work, well, you've already tested it. You can't return it at that point. So that's what the part that gets expensive, and that's kind of what you're paying for is the convenience that someone's already figured out all the guesswork in it and you get exactly what you need. Because not only did we have to go through buying random fittings and random hose and random piping and all this stuff, and then we had to figure out how it was going to fit, and we had to do a lot of measuring and cutting and measuring and cutting and measuring and cutting. It's also the time. It took us 4 weeks. It probably would have only taken us 2 weeks, but there was a lot of setbacks. Like to get the oil pan out, we had to separate the freaking engine from the K-member. Like we had to make all this room to get that out. And then when we got the oil pan out, we had to drill a plastic oil pan. We didn't know if we wanted to do it that way. And then I don't know. We just ran into like a bunch of small issues that added up to like 4 weeks of time. Now, if it was a complete kit, we could have probably had it on like within a week. Like removing and installing stuff did not take long. It was the removing stuff and then figuring out how everything was going to fit, how it was going to line up, and then the manifolds wouldn't line up and we had to alter stuff and just a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to add this up real quick and then we'll add up all the local stuff and we'll see where that gets us to. Okay, so we've added it up. It's actually not as bad as I thought. What's your guess?
For just the turbo kit?
Just the turbo kit, not the fuel system, and we're not counting the extra turbo yet. There's a $600 difference between the Precision Turbo, what I waffled it off for, and what the price of the new turbo was. The new turbo is like $1,700, the old turbo is like $1,000. So there's about like $600-700 difference between the turbos, so we're not gonna include that quite yet. But
I would say 5,500.
So I forgot to add in the boost controller, which was $350.
Well, you forgot to tell me that part.
You do need the boost controller. So $6,345. It's actually not bad. I thought it'd be a lot worse. Now, you add in the extra turbo, which is another like $600. That puts you at $69.45. So almost $7,000 if you choose the correct turbo up front. You could go with a different turbo, but that's the turbo I went with. Now, Kennedy's asked me to give the total cost of what I have in the car so far. So we'll just call it, with the new turbo, $7,000 for the turbo kit. So if you want, with the Borg Warner, the right size turbo, all the piping. Now remember, this doesn't include welding supplies, welding, Joseph's welding time, the time we spent working on the car, like, 4 weeks of labor. Sounds like someone, like a pregnant lady. I'm in labor.
What?
So, doesn't include any of that. Or the $500 for the tune for the car. So that's on top. But same thing, when you order a Helion kit, you don't order the tune yet. Like, that's extra because it depends on what tuner you want to go with. But I'm going to give you what I've total spent on the car. So we're going to call it $7,000 for the turbo kit. $2,000 for the fuel system, not the injectors. The triple pumps, the fuel lines, the fuel rails, that's $2,000. So that's $9,000. $1,000 for the 1050X injectors. That's $10,000. The tune, $500.
So
that's $10,500. I got the end gauge, so the little end gauge that you need. I got that used, which only cost me $250. I think new they're like $400 to $500 somewhere in there, but I only got it for $250. So we're at $10,750. I gotta write this down so I don't forget. I've only bought 15 gallons of C16, and that's already cost me like $300. Almost $300. We're just gonna call it $300 for 15 gallons.
Whoa.
Mind you, I just bought a 55-gallon drum of Ignite E90 for $500. We should add that up because I've paid for all that already. So yeah, we've got another $800 in there. So that puts us at 11,550. The front wheels and tires with the $100 lug nuts, because I had to get the billet aluminum lug nuts.
Oh,
nice
yep,
ones.
you had to.
They're lightweight. That's $1,000 for the wheels, tires, and the lug nuts. That puts us at 12,550. What else? Let me make sure I'm not missing anything before. Oh shit. Catch cam, $100. So 1266 or 1265. Sorry, 12650. I just ordered. We haven't done this yet, but we ordered the stainless steel to do the hard radiator line with the special fitting from Power by the Hour. That's about 100. I think it's like $150. So we're at 12.8 now. Oh shit, what else am I forgetting? So that pretty much takes care of the turbo system, the fuel system, all the piping, the exhaust, everything. That's what I didn't include on the turbo kit, was all the exhaust wrap, which you don't have to buy, but you really, really need it. And I probably spent another $100 on exhaust wrap. So this stuff gets pretty expensive, especially for how much I needed. So I easily spent $100, if not more, on this exhaust wrap. So we're at 12.9.
Let's just round it up to 13, David.
I forgot about that. I did buy 17-inch rears, but I'm selling them for exactly what I bought them for because I left them in the box. So we're not going to count those. Oh, I didn't count the whole Joseph cut. How much did that? Joseph, how much did that cost me?
Yeah.
But I didn't
Comment
count the
down below,
exhaust
Joseph.
trim ring. Like I think that was $40. So I mean, yeah, we're $13,000.
So David could have paid off my car and had some left over.
So yeah, all in right now in the Mustang. I'm in
You're
$13,000. One more thing. I have multiple tunes on this car. The 500 was just for the turbo tune. I already paid a 500 before that for the E85 when the car was stock and it had just the E85 tune, a flex fuel tune, and a
was that another 500?
Yeah, that's another 500. So, we're at
So that's
$13,500.
$1,000.
Well, for both tunes, but I already had the other 500, so $13,500.
That's what I meant. I've got to go.
All right, what are your thoughts, Ken Dog?
13 grand?
13,500. That's not that bad though, honestly. Like over the course of I've only owned the car since January.
And y'all, he did all of it actually with paper tags. You didn't even register the car
until like a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So 13,500. That's not, but that's not bad. Like this is saying that's wheels and tires for the front. That's the fuel system, the multiple tunes I've gone through. Like that's everything. The turbo kit, honestly, yeah, it was about 7,000 for just the turbo kit, and you can buy an Aldo Welds bottom mount kit. The CG Fab, or not CG Fab, the Siley BL Fab kit that's coming out, that's starting at 7,500. So I'm right about where a single turbo kit costs. I think the coolest thing about this though is that this is a custom kit. No one's gonna have this kit. This is my own kit that Joseph built for me, and I think that's probably the cool factor about it. And yeah, we really didn't save as much as I was trying to, or when I originally did this, I was hoping I'd save more money than that. But the BL Fab kit still hasn't come out. I didn't even know it was a thing at the time. You got to remember, like, the BL Fab is the first true single turbo kit for this car, besides Blow By Racing, which I don't know anyone that's running that kit yet besides the actual owner of Blow By. And if you guys don't know, I was getting sponsored by them. I was working a deal out with them, but I decided to make my own kit with Joe because I thought it'd be a lot cooler. So I think when this is all said and done, it is totally going to be worth it once we get the new exhaust on and the car is tuned. We are switching the car to Ignite E90, so we're going to save a little bit of money on fuel there. It's pretty much going to cut my fuel costs in half, which is awesome. If we had better pump E85 here, I would go strictly to pump E85, but the fact of it being inconsistent and you're always having to test it and worry about it, I just don't want to deal with that. I'd rather have an E90 tune and just know that it's going to be consistent E90 every time. Plus, it's a higher octane rating, so we can run a little bit more timing or run the same timing and be a little bit safer than just straight pump gas. So I think the cool factor is that, like, this is a custom built turbo kit. You'll see this nowhere. Besides the manifolds, everything else is pretty much custom. And like, if something breaks on this, we put this whole thing together, so we know exactly how everything comes apart, how everything's put together, what we need to do to fix it. And I think it still just comes down to the fact that this is a garage built car. Like, this isn't an off the shelf turbo kit. So you can definitely save yourself some money. You can get the BL Fab kit that's coming out if you want a single turbo kit. You can get the bottom mount Aldo Welds kit, which is a tried and true tested kit. They've already been in the 8s with it. You can get the Helion sleeper kit. You can get the Helion top mount kit. You can get the Armageddon. You can get the LPF. You can get an On 3 kit if you really want to save some money. But so mine was $7 grand. I'd say you could save easily $1,000 to $1,500 by knowing exactly the parts you need and knowing exactly which turbo you need. You could even save more money if you source some of the stuff used. Like, you can get a used intercooler. You could probably get a slightly used turbo. You get used wastegates, used blow-off valve. Like, this was everything brand new from the manufacturer, so I kind of paid a premium for that stuff. But I honestly don't think it's that bad when you put it all together. Now, when you start adding in the fuel system, that's when shit gets expensive. Like, the fuel system it's just crazy how much that stuff costs. And that's just 1050 injectors. When I bump up to 1300s, that's raising the price to $1,800 versus $1,000 for the 1050s. So that's a huge jump in price. Other than that, my fuel system's good for 2,000 horsepower once I get bigger injectors. So I won't really have to mess with the fuel system for a long time, which is good. Probably the next upgrade, once we get the turbo and all that stuff figured out, would be switching the air-to-air intercooler to like an air-to-water system, which adds about $1,000 once you get like the ice tank and all that stuff in the back. And I still don't have rear wheels. But that's neither here nor there. Kennedy?
So I guess I'm going to be the one that has to be financially responsible in this relationship.
Because this is irresponsible, responsible, irresponsible, responsible.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
But, that's over time. That's using some of the money that I've made off YouTube or some of the money that I've sold parts. So I have sold some parts off of this car. But, yeah. If you guys want to know, that's how much it cost. And that's just the beginning. Like, we still got to do suspension, brakes, rear wheels, seats. I don't even have the freaking car tinted.
He can't afford that.
I can't afford that. That's different. So yeah, that's not, the car's not even near finished. And that's assuming, you know, that the motor and the trans hold together. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Hopefully that's a little bit more insightful. I know a lot of people have been asking me how much it costs. Like I said, figure about $7 grand if you want to build the turbo kit yourself. I mean, I guess if you want to build the manifolds yourself, you could probably even save some money there, because I paid about $1,600 for just the manifolds, the crossover pipe, and the merge. So that was a little more expensive. But yeah, $7,000 about just for the turbo kit. And then right now, I have about $13,500 total in the car, and that's without like rear wheels and like all the other stuff that I listed that I want to do. We got a long road ahead of us. So hopefully this week you guys will be seeing a video on the exhaust being built for this car, and we can finish up the tuning with Lund, and then we can switch the car over to Ignite E90, and hopefully we can get the car rolling after that and start actually making some videos of this car running. Would be nice.
Yeah, we did.
That's the hardest part, is like I've spent all this money and I haven't got to drive the car.
Yeah, can't spend 13 grand for nothing.
Exactly. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure you, as always, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to stay up to date on all my videos. Smash the like button, comment down below.
Make sure you always comment, like, subscribe.
I already said that part.
Well, I wanted to say it.
Follow Kennedy at Kennedy McCall on Instagram. Follow me at VanV39 on Instagram. Follow our media page at VanVorst Media. I thought you were about to throw a Sharpie at me.
I'm just kidding, man.
So, we'll see you guys on the next one.